Hi everyone, so sorry that there were no videos last week. I just needed a little bit of a break. Those of you who follow me on Instagram would have seen that on Monday, I think it was, I had these really kind of horrible comments that were going on, and I usually just kind of block and ignore, and I did, but this person kind of kept opening new accounts. They obviously really wanted to get their point across, and then I don't know what it was on Monday, and on this one particular video it just was kind of very repetitive, and I was getting a lot of hate and a lot of just kind of horribleness that I just needed to have a little bit of a step back. And I know some of you find that very annoying when I say that, because you just think like, oh, don't take it seriously, but you know, I'm human and it is not very nice. But after that happened, I then stumbled across an article. It was on Facebook randomly, but that the Pool had published. And if you don't read the Pool, go and read the Pool, because they have some really, really amazing articles on there. And they were talking in this article about kind of, not trolling, but kind of body shaming. And basically it was an article, I will link it down below for you, where women were talking about their experiences of being body shamed throughout their life, and there were just so many of them that it kind of made me think, God, every single one of us has got kind of some sort of story to do with that, and it's just so interesting and just so kind of weird. And it was something that was on my mind a lot last week. So yeah, I didn't feel like making any videos, to be honest, because I just spent a whole day having to deal with that, and it just really put me off. And so many of you on Instagram were so lovely and smart and just great that you know, I'm not kind of, it wasn't a punishment type of thing. Not me saying, oh, I hate YouTube, it wasn't that. I just felt like I needed a bit of a break. But I'm not sure what I'm going to call this video, because you know what it's like with these types of videos, it's very difficult to come up with a title for them. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about the whole thing of body shaming, and I'm going to grab my water that's down here a minute, because I'm a little bit thirsty. It's really, really warm today, it's really lovely. I'm actually wearing a dress, not that you can really tell, but so what am I talking about? Be coherent. Yeah, body shaming. It is something that I think most of us have experienced at some point in our lives, and I know for a fact that it's something that I have experienced both online and offline. And the funny thing is with it is every single comment stays with you. And I can remember comments that people made to me when I was a child, that people so did not have a place to be making these comments. And I can vividly remember the comments, and I can vividly remember the person who said them. And I think so much of that has kind of shaped me into the person that I am, and affected my self-esteem in a way that kind of lots of other people won't have necessarily experienced. And you know, when you see those girls that just look like they're so incredibly confident, and I always look at them and I think, has anyone ever said any of these comments to you? Do you just brush them off? Because if you do, I want to know how you do that, because I always take them in. And even when I've been the skinniest I could possibly be, I always had all these things that I hated, and these things that I thought I couldn't wear. And you know, like, at the skinniest I've ever been, me wearing a crop top was such a like emotional struggle for me, because I just couldn't, I was just like, no, it's not for you, it's for girls, you know, who have a flat tummy, because that's what someone said to me once. And when I was like, you know, 10, and those types of things stay with me. And I know that some of that is my fault, as in I take it on board, and you shouldn't, you should just shrug it off. But it's really, really difficult to be able to do that. And the comment in question, which I know some of you will be thinking, don't kind of give that person the time of day, don't highlight what they said, and it's not, I'm not trying to do that. I just want to kind of have this discussion with you, because I know that it's something that so many of you struggle with, because you tell me all the time, and I get emails all the time from girls who are really struggling. And you know, let's just put that out there, okay? I have gained a considerable amount of weight. I right now am fat. There is no other way to describe it. I look fat. I, you know, can still kind of make the best of what I've got, but I don't think that I look the best that I can look. And that's not me kind of feeling sorry for myself, or people saying, you know, you've got to love how you are now. That it's not that. It's just kind of stating the obvious. That happened for various reasons that I'm not going to go into because it's not very interesting. But I had this comment from somebody who basically said, you know, I watched an old video of you. This was a person who hadn't watched any of my channel, kind of had stumbled across my channel, watched an old video, then came on to see the videos now and said, God, you look like a fat pig. Don't you respect yourself? How have you let that happen to yourself? And that comment really got to me, because I just kind of thought, God, you've just stumbled across this channel. How do you think that it's okay to make a comment like that to somebody? I just can't even understand it. And then more people started commenting on this thing, and it became this whole massive kind of stupid thing in the comments. And somebody said, oh, that person is just pointing out what everybody in your real life is afraid to tell you. Again, why are you making that assumption? Because let me tell you, there are plenty of people in my real life who will say it, and, you know, make of that what you will. And then somebody else in the comments said, this person is doing you a kindness by telling you what you clearly don't know, and they're helping you. They're helping you be aware of yourself. And I just cannot even begin to comprehend why a person would feel the need to point out a flaw, in their opinion, you know, in another person, and assume that that person doesn't know. It's such a narrow-minded way of looking at it. It's like if somebody has acne. Would you go up to that person and say, ooh, you might want to, like, you know, sort your face out because you have acne? Do you really think that that person doesn't know that they have acne? Pretty sure they have mirrors in their house that they look at least once a day. Pretty sure that they can feel the acne on their skin. Pretty sure that they probably are very, very deeply unhappy about it. Pretty sure that they're doing what they can to try and combat it, but sometimes things take a little bit of work or take a little bit more time. It is exactly the same as that. Now, some may argue that weight gain, people are telling you it because they're afraid for your health. Now, I can completely appreciate that. I can completely understand that. And I am someone who comes from a family where a lot of people are quite overweight, always have been. My dad's really overweight, my dad smokes, but he doesn't really seem to particularly care, and as much as I would love for him to tackle these problems, I don't think that it's my place to come and say to somebody, even somebody that you're very, very close to, you need to tackle this problem, because I just think they are clearly already aware. People aren't blind and people aren't stupid. They are aware that there is a problem, and they are dealing with it or not dealing with it to the best that they can. Now, when people make these comments, especially online, what infuriates me the most is when they try and make out like they're doing it as a courtesy. They're doing you a solid by letting you know, did you know that you need to go on a diet? I cannot even begin to understand why people think that the person that they're saying this to doesn't already know. But even if they do already know, what makes you think that that person wants to go on a diet? Maybe they're happy like they are. Maybe they have some sort of health problem that has caused them to be how they are. Do you know that? No. So why would you... Basically what it is people who are trolling, and they try and mask their trolling like they're doing something helpful for you. And that I find more insulting than anything, because I think if you're just being a troll, then you can just be like, okay, whatever, you can do on, and it's fine. But when they try and make out like they're helping you because they're worried about you, they're worried about your health, that I just find so disgusting, because I just think it's not any of our place to point out anyone else's flaws Because why would you be so judgmental like that? Somebody might be perfectly happy the way that they are, and it's not your place to comment on it. You don't have the right to comment on anybody else's appearance. And if it is in real life and it's somebody that's very close to you and you're worried about their health, then yeah, you can sit them down for a conversation and say, look, I'm worried because blah, 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 blah. You know, you might get diabetes, blah, 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 blah. I can understand that. I don't think that I could do that to somebody because I'm so hyper aware of it that I just kind of, I'm somebody that struggles with, I like boundaries, and I don't like people getting in other people's business, even if it's people that are really close to you, even if it's family. I don't like people kind of getting in other people's business, so I wouldn't do that to somebody else because I don't like it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it in that way. If it's somebody that you really care about and you know and you trust, and you know that it's not because they have you know, a thyroid problem or something like that. It's like, imagine if somebody had acne and you told them that, and they're actually struggling with some sort of allergy that they can't quite get to grips with, and that's what's causing their skin to be that way. You don't know, so you don't have the right to try and tell somebody that they need to fix something about themselves. I cannot even begin to understand where the thought process that some people have, that they think that they're actually helping you. They think that they're telling you something that you don't know, and by the fact that they've just helped you by telling you this, you're then going to be like, oh my god, how did I not know this? Thank you so much. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to diet and I'm going to be skinny because you told me this. Thank you. That's just not going to happen, is it? Like, it's the most unrealistic, ridiculous thing to think. And people kind of like, it's people's own self-importance, isn't it? That they think that their comment is like so important that you're going to seriously take it on board. And I can literally picture how people do it as well. It's that kind of, let me give you some advice. Here you go. I've imparted you with ugh, what's wrong with me? With wisdom. It was because I was trying to double you. It's just, I can't even like begin to understand why people seem to think that it's helpful, or that they kind of are helping a problem when in fact they're just actually making the problem worse. Because let me tell you something, every time, if you're somebody who has made comments like this, every time you make these comments to somebody, all you are doing is making that person feel like shit. That's all that happens. You've probably made that person go home and then when they go to bed cry because of what you've said to them. And you know, I don't mean to come across as like being really horrible, but I know some people watch and they do feel like they want to say things because, you know, they care about the person or they feel like they know you or whatever. But I just don't think that it's a good idea, and you know, this is my opinion, I might be completely wrong, but I just don't think that kind of shaming somebody about something is ever a good way to go about it. And especially online, I don't really understand why you would care. Especially if you're somebody who, you know, hasn't followed this person and just stumbled across this channel. And I know people are going to get annoyed in this video probably and say like, oh, why are you addressing this? Why are you giving them the time of day, stupid people? But it's something that's so rife, and like I said, it happens in real life as well, that it is something that I know a lot of us struggle with. So I want you to tell me in the comments your experience with these types of things, whether it's been online or in real life, and how you've dealt with it and your tips on dealing with it, because I also just think it's rude and impolite, and I think that, you know, we're all doing the best that we can do and we'll get there in the end, but people chipping in along the way with so-called advice when it's not solicited, I'm just not into that. So yeah, I want to know what you think in the comments down below, and I hope you enjoyed this little ranty video. I did rant a lot, didn't I? It's been on my mind for like the past couple of weeks because it's been kind of, I've been seeing bits and bobs of it everywhere. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Not the most enjoyable, but hey, and I'll see you soon. Bye.